During my congressional testimony this year, the word accountability was invoked on many occasions. One of the key points of my testimony was that we fully supported giving veterans the option to seek alternatives to VA health care. But do not be fooled by the word choice, which some smaller veterans groups and some politicians are using as a code word for the outsourcing and dismantling of the VA system. Our veterans are not mercenaries fighting in a privately owned army. They served in the United States military, and the United States government has a solemn obligation to care for them. It wasn't the private sector that sent our heroes to war. It was Uncle Sam. Last month, our past National Commander Joe Frank wrote this: VA care is a cherished benefit reserved only for those who pledged our lives to defend our nation. It's something we get in return for what we've given. And I want to thank past National Commander Joe Frank for putting a face and a story of how much the VA healthcare system means to our veterans across this nation. Let me be very clear. Our criticism of the VA is not condemnation. Our message to the White House and to Congress is fix it, and that the VA healthcare system is truly a system worth saving. Some would like to privatize it, and the private sector works very well when building automobiles, computers, and other popular goods and services. However, it's not a solution for making veterans whole again. Veterans are not commercial products. If you outsource veterans from the VA, I guarantee you the cost for the remaining veterans will go up. It should also include a commitment from our VA that the bills to providers on choice will be paid in a timely manner. The goal is 80%, which is pretty much an industry standard. But I will tell you, as I've gone to several VA hospitals across the nation, the number that being paid within 30 days is closer to 25%. That is totally unacceptable, especially when one of our elderly veterans gets a bill maybe for the first time in their life. That's flat wrong. The American Legion can never be accused of excusing bad behavior at the VA. This is the organization that 2 years ago, under the leadership of past National Commander Dan Dillinger, stood as the only veteran service organization in calling for the resignation of VA Secretary then Eric Zinsecki. As you remember, in October, I addressed you about an issue, and I flew in October to Washington, D.C. for a hearing on relocation allowances. And much to my chagrin, when I got there, I saw 5 empty witness chairs and one who wasn't there because that person had already resigned because they knew that they had done wrong. They still haven't been held fully accountable for taking advantage of that flawed relocation program, which allowed them to take advantage and enrich themselves, but did nothing to improve the lives of veterans. But I'm proud to say that because of our stance, that relocation program was immediately eliminated after that October hearings. We've talked at the congressional hearing in February about the Merit System Protection Board that has repeatedly blocked any attempt to discipline poorly performing VA executives. It's a system that needs to be reformed. We welcome VA efforts to shift senior executives from Title V to Title 38 status, which would expand its authority to remove inept or corrupt employees. A massive new bill has just been introduced in the Senate that would do that and more. It would allow VA to pay outstanding doctors and healthcare professionals more, but at the same time corral the lengthy grievance process to under 21 days. We also support the VA Accountability Act of 2015 and would like to see it pass the Senate, as it has in the House. Most VA employees are dedicated servants who truly care about veterans. It's a huge system, and it doesn't take a lot of poor performers to give the system a black eye and generate negative media coverage. It's our job to put things in perspective and ensure that VA provides the best possible health care to serve our veterans. We also need to be heard on national defense issues. Manpower cuts have put our military on the brink of breaking. I have seen on multiple occasions where lack of equipment maintenance funding has caused units to cannibalize and put old parts on new equipment because there's no new parts available and no new contracts are being issued. Without endorsing or showing favoritism for any particular candidates, we should remind all who seek federal office that defending our nation should be job one. You can applaud, Dave. Thank you. Some in Congress have also suggested eliminating the selective service system. This is not a right move when our global war on terrorism is not diminishing. The threat is increasing. We need to be able to mobilize in time of national emergency, and the selective service system is designed to maintain that emergency readiness. Because of sequestration, our troops are expected to do more and more. Yet again, some in Congress want to offer a small 1.6% pay raise for 2017. This would continue a 6-year stretch in which military pay raises are below 2%. These troops are unable to advocate for themselves, which is the very reason why the American Legion will continue to be their voice in Washington. I would be remiss if I didn't thank all of you for the outstanding support you have given me on awareness walks. They've been pretty exciting. I got to walk on water in Minnesota. But of course, I got to tell you, past National Commander Ludwig was right with me, so you know that ice was pretty thick. But each and every one of the walks have been so memorable. We walked across the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma, Alabama, that historic bridge, the site of Bloody Sunday in April of 1965. We walked hand in hand with groups from all across that community and began a process of healing that community that was deeply needed. Only the American Legion can provide that type of healing to communities, and what a memorable event it was. We walked with Star Wars characters in California. Very interesting. But it was interesting in the fact that veterans from all over the country, because no one in Hollywood is from Hollywood, they're all from Kansas. But they came up and they told us their stories of the American Legion and how uniquely it had impacted on their lives, and we got to share our stories. Recently, we walked in West Virginia on the campus of Marshall University with the university president. They told us the story of We Are Marshall, and we told them the story of We Are the American Legion. We walked on the beaches of Virginia. Oh, Dan Dillinger got sand in his shoes. We walked in 6 state capitals on behalf of veteran-friendly legislation. We walked in Hawaii just before Pearl Harbor Day. Literally and figuratively, the American Legion family walks for those who march for us every day. So far, I've been on 30 awareness walks. Too many to mention each of the stories because each of them are so unique. But each has offered an opportunity to tell our story of who we are and what we do. And I'm passionate about being a part of this American Legion and the American Legion family. I want to continue to urge you to raise money for the National Emergency Fund. Recently, historic flooding in Texas and Louisiana has reminded us once again of the importance of our National Emergency Fund. Even more recently were tornado warnings in states from Nebraska all the way to the East Coast. The American Legion family comes together in times of crisis. Many of the flood victims have lost everything, but we need to offer that lifeline of support to at least help with lodging and other costs until further resources are available. I'm always struck by the generosity demonstrated by posts, units, and squadrons as I have visited your departments. I know I can count on you to continue that. I would welcome the opportunity to stand before you in Cincinnati and be able to say the same thing that past National Commander Mike Helms said, that he was a $7 million man. I would like to be another $7 million man, and I know we can do it. Lastly, at this NEC, a challenge will be issued to look strategically and globally about membership and promoting a culture of membership growth. Our organization has often put Band-Aids solution to organizational issues that need your vision and a strategic long-range plan. Legionnaires 20 years from now will judge this body either favorably or unfavorably for our vision and our desire to cultivate a global culture of growth. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for allowing me to be your national commander. Thank you for what you do each and every day. And let's have a very productive NEC meeting. Thank you all very much.